Hello, Train My Traffic people. Molly and John here. Happy Tuesday, March 17th, and we are live for your weekly Q&A call, which I'm really excited to connect with you guys. We got caught up a bunch in the group today. Thank you guys for being patient. The last few weeks have been crazy. I was supposed to be in the US until the beginning of April, and then with everything going on, needed to get back to Amsterdam on a moment's notice. So made it back over jet lag, feeling safe here. I hope everybody's okay. I do want to talk a little bit before we jump into the questions. I don't want to harp on this. I know you guys are hearing about the virus everywhere you go, every person you talk to, but I do want to touch on a little bit what I think this means for us as online marketers right now, and specifically in terms of ads, because we've been getting lots of questions from you guys like, should I turn off my ads? What if I'm getting poor results, or what are things looking like for everybody else? So I do want to touch on that a little bit, and I'm happy to answer any questions. If you have any specific questions about your business and what you're currently doing, like I know Carl had just posted in the group, he was running ads about how dirty your coffee makers are, your Keurigs are, and he was asking if we still thought it was appropriate. So happy to give any feedback like this to you guys, but I just wanted to address that first, and then we've got questions to answer. We've got some great ad copy, creative targeting to look at. And yeah, I just want you guys to know there is light at the end of the tunnel. We will all be okay in some form or fashion. And I think that overall right now, I'm really grateful that we work on the internet. I'm grateful to be teaching you guys this skill set. I think we should all this just further reaffirms for me that this career path is a relevant one, and something that's going to help a lot of businesses through these tough times. So I just want to cover a few points, John, if we don't have any questions coming in. Just a few things that I'm seeing from an ad standpoint across all the ad accounts that I'm a part of, and kind of what that means for you guys during the coming days, coming weeks. I think that's what's stressful about this, is we don't know exactly when it's going to end or what's going to happen. And so our minds are fixating on that. But from an advertising standpoint, just want to give you guys a few tips.
Yeah, we're looking all good on the question front, so feel free. I know people really, really want to know this, and I honestly am excited to hear it myself, so dive right in.
Cool. So I looked at about 12 or 13 ad accounts, and these are completely across the board, selling in very different markets, all types of different stuff. And the first thing that I noticed, which is really good news, is that traffic on Facebook and really Google, YouTube, all the traffic platforms across the board, really cheap right now. And that makes sense because I think a lot of people have turned their ads off, especially big brands that aren't as much of direct response, that just have a budget that they set every quarter and spend. So I think competition is really low right now, and I'm seeing some of the cheapest traffic, even cheaper than I saw in January, which is usually the cheapest time of year to buy traffic because it's after the holidays. I'm seeing that across the board, costs are even lower than we saw in January. So there is an opportunity here. Now, that said, in terms of performance, right, if you're looking at return on ad spend, cost per acquisition, I'm seeing a lot of you guys saying, hey, I'm struggling right now. My return on ad spend is completely dipped. My CPA's gone up. And then in other accounts, it's the complete opposite. It's like some of the best days that these accounts have ever had. And this is common sense, but I think what's important to keep in mind right now is most humans on earth are focused on this event that's occurring. And so most of their purchasing decisions are being filtered through that lens. So if you are selling a product or service to a person that feels very relevant in this time with what's going on, you are most likely doing really well right now. If you're selling something that feels a bit like a luxury, I mean, obviously local businesses are struggling, obviously the travel industry is struggling, but even, for example, Boom, right, selling makeup to women over the age of 50, we're still running ads, we're still spending over 10K a day. They're doing okay, but we have seen a huge dip in performance, and that makes sense. People aren't worried about buying makeup right now. That's the last thing that humans are thinking about. And especially with that avatar, that audience, women over the age of 50 who are the most at risk, you know, like my mom, a lot of them are scared. And so they're not thinking about makeup. Whereas on the other hand, you know, a lot of our friends that are selling water purification filters and laundry detergent, and even my keto client, which I'll be showing you guys inside a lot the next week because I'm actively running a ton of ads for them. We put out a lot of information on the keto diet. We also sell a lot of supplements around keto and just healthy living in general. We're seeing the best results that I've ever seen in this account over the 2 years that I've run. And I think a big reason for that is people are in the mindset of they're wanting to be healthy, right? They want to take care of their bodies right now. People are at home, they're a bit bored, so they're consuming information. With the keto client, we give a lot of free information and free docuseries, so that offer makes sense right now. So I think in terms of, hey, Molly, my performance is going really well or it's not going really well, I don't think there's anything tactical necessarily that's changed. We're honestly seeing less competition than I've seen in years. It's just for a lot of us that are selling a product that isn't as relevant at this time, or maybe selling to an avatar that just, you know, it isn't interested in the moment. You know, you might not be doing so hot right now from a conversion rate standpoint. And what I'm seeing usually in these accounts, especially with a brand like Boom, is that when we're seeing the return on ad spend lower or seeing the CPA go up. So for example, you guys know we like to keep the CPA for Boom around 45 to 65. Right now it's more like 90 plus. And so we've lowered the budget. We're still running ads. We've lowered the budget. And what's interesting is that it's not necessarily that our click-through rates are down or that our cost per click's up. We're still driving the same amount of traffic. It just looks like our site and our pre-sale article where we're sending traffic to, the conversion rate is down like 30% to even 50% of what it usually is. And so that further reaffirms for me that you know, these people are still spending time online. They're interested in consuming information. They're okay interacting with brands, but just that purchase, that decision, it isn't happening. That there's not as much confidence in that decision for multiple reasons. So I think it's just important for you guys to keep this in context as you're dealing with different ad accounts throughout, you know, the coming days, the coming weeks, the coming months. Keep it all in context in terms of performance, because that is the filter that most humans are looking through right now. And it's so interesting to see what accounts are suffering and what accounts are having their best days ever, which is crazy. So in terms of, I've seen in a lot of groups, people are like, you should completely shut your ads off. People shouldn't be advertising at this time. I think this is completely up to you guys, your values, what you feel is appropriate. I think it totally depends, of course, on what you're selling and what you're doing. I do not think that we need to shut our ads off. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with continuing to run ads at this point in time. I think we just need to be respectful of the situation. And I think that it is okay to tweak your offer and to tweak your messaging. Like, you guys might have seen digitalmarketer.com today just said, hey, we're giving away our Digital Marketer Lab monthly program for free for a month. and Loom, the video service, is giving away free services for teachers. And there are a lot of brands that are tweaking their offers to fit the current situation. I don't see anything wrong with that, but I do think there's a fine line here where we don't want to ever make consumers feel like we're capitalizing on this issue to make our ad copy a bit sexier to get people interested. So I still think for my value set and Smart Marketer, I still think it's okay to run ads. We just want to be respectful of the situation. And I do think it's okay to position your product or service to speak to what's going on, right? I know that at Smart Marketer, we're going to be putting out a bunch of free information, especially for local businesses or anyone that's struggling. You guys probably saw in the group today, I posted that Facebook's giving away over $100 million in ad credits. So definitely check out that link. John, put that in the comments box here if you have a second. Definitely apply for those when that's available, because a lot of you guys will qualify for them, and that's just free money to help get through this time. But I think in terms of running ads or any promotions, that's something that you need to put through your own filters. So for example, at Smart Marketer, we had a promotion coming up planned that we've been working on the last few weeks for our email marketing course. And that was supposed to start this week. And we made the call yesterday, hey guys, we're okay to continue talking to our email list. We're of course even more motivated to serve you guys and help you guys. But I don't feel comfortable, Ezra, John, and I don't feel comfortable, doing this big promotion with a huge discount about an email marketing course that, is relevant and would help businesses. But I just didn't feel good about running a flash sale at this point in time. And I think, John, you were the one that actually first said that. So I think it is okay to cancel things. And if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. But I do think that there still is a huge opportunity here. And yeah, John, I just wanted to touch on those points, kind of rambling now and going down a Molly rabbit hole. I know we've got a lot of questions to answer, but I just want you guys to know, especially from a business standpoint, this is going to be okay. It's okay to not feel okay. I know yesterday, and John, we just chatted and you were feeling the same way. I was just feeling very overwhelmed, and this was very heavy, and then I was feeling bad for feeling bad, and then I couldn't focus on work. And I definitely, this isn't a time for panic. You guys know that step one is always to not panic, but this is a heavy deal that's being felt around the world, and it's okay to process that and to realize, or to take time, right, to take care of yourself and put your oxygen mask on first before you help other people. But from a business standpoint, from an ad standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, in terms of the economy, I know that we will all be okay. And I think it makes what we're learning here in Train My Traffic Person and just all the work we do at Smart Marketer period even more relevant, and we're even more fired up to help you guys and serve you guys. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. Hopefully that if anything makes you feel better, which I think most of us need right now, a big hug. And yeah, John, if you don't have anything to add, we will dive into these questions.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to throw one thing out there for your consideration. Two things, actually, just something else came in. Amy Ross said, hey, I'd be open to sharing some relaxation techniques if you'd be interested. I would say, Amy, that would be awesome if you want to share in the Facebook group relaxation tips for people. I know I am crazy tense right now, so
yeah, that would
good
be
that
amazing.
yeah, share and share alike.
Any skill set or information, I mean, not information about what's going on, but anything you have to add that you think would help people, that is completely welcome in the group. So Amy, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
And then Teresa mentioned that, she said, I know Molly doesn't usually recommend cost caps, but she was mentioning that it had been really helpful for her to use cost caps in her advertising at the moment, just because it keeps things from getting out of whack. What do you think about
Yeah,
adding that into the
that's
mix?
good. And I think especially, Teresa, I know you posted in the group in the last few days something about what if you want to run ads for profit and less so for scale. And a great way to do that is to use cost cap. You understand that you're going to get a much lower volume of results, which is why I don't use it often, because I'm looking to scale businesses through acquiring as many customers as possible. But if you're definitely going for more of a profit route in the moment, that cost cap can definitely help you keep it under control. So that's a great tip, and I'm glad that's working for you.
Cool. All right. Well, that is all we've got, Molly, and I do see lots of tabs open, so feel free to jump right in.
Yeah, I love that it keeps recommending my dad to be a part of Train My Traffic person. We're
Second
gonna
career
invite
later in life.
you. He still thinks that I build websites, but I think he likes seeing all the businesses that I work with. So we usually invite him to our groups. All right, y'all, let's do it. Okay, so Josh says, hi, Molly and team, really enjoying the class. Awesome. Here are a few questions I have. I'm working with a business consulting company that specializes specifically in helping people in the dog care industry. Love that. Okay, so you're working with a business consulting company that specializes in helping people in the dog care industry. And you're working to develop a paid system on top of the organic community we already do. I'm currently working on our avatars and developing a campaign running traffic to a video series and/or webinar selling our Dog Walking Academy, an 8-week online course teaching new folks in the dog walking industry how to become a professional and profitable dog walker. I love that. I think that any information around, the apps like this are changing the job, the career, sort of the entrepreneur, really the freelance market, people even on Airbnb. So any information or courses around how people can make more money and kind of turn this into their own little business, I think that's really cool. Question 1, our target demographic tends to live in urban areas. Would you ever target large metro areas? So yeah, I definitely would, especially because three, well, yeah, 3 people came to mind when I just read this, friends of mine that are dog walkers that I thought, whoa, they would really be interested in this. And 2 out of the 3 actually live in a city. So I think even though, typically you see them, oh, I'm sorry. You're saying that they live in urban areas. Would you ever target large metro areas on top of interest? I understand. I'm sorry, I read that the wrong way. I understand not wanting to have too small of an audience, but also don't want the ad showing to people in rural areas or people who wouldn't be qualified leads. So I don't see an issue. And I was going to say 2 of the 3 friends that came to mind live in Chicago. So I think you're right on the mark here. And in that scenario, because these are larger cities, I do think there could be a time and a place where you overlay interests. Um, but I just worry about what those interests would even be. I mean, of course, you can target apps like WAG and the different apps that they're using to do the dog walking, but otherwise, I just don't even know what that targeting would be, honestly. Let me know if you've thought any further into that. So that's the reason I wouldn't really layer it on any further. But if you did find some that were really relevant, it's worth a shot. I just worry about it making the audiences too small. So you're fighting to get a budget for this campaign to show proof that this works, and I'm hoping to get some success with it, $1,000. But that said, in your experience, how far out would you suggest starting out fresh test campaigns from a class start date, aiming for early July class start? Okay, good idea. So you don't want it to be too early to where people sign up and then refund because their plans change. And you also don't want it to be too early, because you really want that scarcity of classes starting soon. That's really powerful and true scarcity. But of course, you don't want to wait till the last minute to where they don't have time to make a decision. So first off, I think you're fine testing with $1,000. If I were you, I would test in one city, like a city like Austin or Chicago that has a really dense population of people that are doing this work. Like Austin really comes to mind for me, as would be a great test city for this. And that would help you just get more bang for your buck in terms of this test to get more data and I think more proof of concept. This isn't the case for everybody, by the way. This is just really specific to what Joshua is doing here. And then in terms of aiming for early July, I would plan for most of June to be your promotion. So I'm not sure if you watched the bonus video in module 2 where I went through last fall's Train My Traffic Person launch, but you'll see that we do our launch, our promotion for pretty much a full month leading up to the class. And I think that would give you plenty of time to test and to fill the class and to go through different phases, like maybe doing a webinar, a free video series, then having a strong close the week leading up to the class. So I think planning on doing your marketing for most of June would be smart. And then you said with this small a budget, would you still want to start with AVO around $20 per day? So honestly, I would pick a city. I would have one ad set that's everybody within your ideal age range, living in Austin, for example, and just pretty much have one ad set and test different copy and creative variations, especially with this smaller budget. That will allow you to put a larger daily budget behind that particular ad set, and it makes it easier since you're doing more local targeting. We won't have as many ad sets because we're not needing to test interests and things like that. So that's the way that I would set that up. And then you could lump, maybe $100 a day towards that ad set and get proof of concept and momentum going a lot quicker. So hopefully that's helpful, Joshua. I really think we can get this to work. So let me know what you think if you have any more questions. And as you start to build those assets, we are happy to look over them. So, all right, John, anything coming in, ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah, Josh just asked, I need to keep the audience over 5,000 or 500,000. Is that right? Even if he's looking at the metro area?
No, so for local businesses, you definitely won't be able to hit those the 500 sorry guys, that message threw me off, the 500,000 benchmark that I gave. So I would just go for, like, I would have one ad set in Austin, probably ages like 20 to 40, everyone living within maybe 10 to 20 kilometers of the city. And I think that will probably give you I don't know, I would say 300,000 to 400,000 people, which is actually really large for a local audience, which is fantastic. And with that budget, we'll be able to reach a lot of people very quickly. But even if it was a smaller city and it was more like 5,000 or 10,000 people, it would still be okay because we're hyper focusing on that area.
Perfect. Okay, well, that's great. And there are a few more questions, but you go ahead and dive in. I'm going to get these sorted into faster ones I can ask you. So let's see what Vishal has to say.
Alrighty, so we're gonna look at a pre-sale page, which is exciting. We just finished it, and though it is in German, I need to brush up on my German. We were wondering if you could still look at it with the automatic website translator that Google offers. So I think I have that. Okay. Alrighty, so obviously it's not going to be a perfect translation, but this is pretty handy, and this is how I get by living in the Netherlands. The 5 most important reasons for G10 from 40 plus. So I like that you're calling out an age range. People will know that this information is for them. I'm not sure if people know what Q10 is. And you might need to step a little bit further out in terms of 5 makeup tips for women over the age of 50. Every woman over the age of 50 knows what makeup is, and so this article is relevant to them. And so with you, you've taken a step a bit further closer to the product, people that might be more product aware, and that's going to hurt you with scalability. So I would try to, I like that these are it looks like sort of tips for people over the age of 40, but let's talk about something that they can all relate to. Like, I don't know, I'll learn more about this as I scroll down, but sleep or energy or whatever problem or benefit that this product actually provides. And I don't think this is necessary with the 5 makeup tips. You'll notice that that hero image is what we call it. That is very, oops, that is very strategic because it very much shows the avatar looking right back at them, right? Like these are women that look like the women that are reading this article and they're making eye contact with us. So this is very strategic and very compelling. So I think yours is too large. It's taking up too much space. And we just don't even really know. It looks like something scientific. I don't know, this isn't very compelling at all. So I would use more of something that really shows your avatar. So the most important source of energy for the body. So it does look like this is about energy and strengthening the immune system, which, wow, that's really relevant right now. So maybe this article, especially for the next few months, changes to, 5 ways to strengthen your immune system if you're over the age of 40. That sounds like, if this product provides that in benefit, and if you feel like you can give value on that, that would be a fantastic way to transition this and make this more relevant. I think you have maybe a little bit too much information. Like this is a lot to read, especially if you're on mobile. For anybody who's a skimmer, this would be a lot to digest. So I would look more at 5 makeup tips and see, how short and simple we keep this so that people can still get value even if they're skimming. So I think this would be okay even if you didn't change it to be about the immune system. I think it just needs to be focused on one topic. I'm not sure if people are interested in energy and immune system and keeping the cells fresh, unless it's just like 5 ways to be healthier over the age of 40 or something like that. I think this would be a lot more powerful, especially from an advertising standpoint, if you were to focus either on the energy or specifically on the immune system, especially with everything going on right now. And then I do think more of a transition into Q10, what it is. I think you really just need to go back to Boom's article here. You see that there's this nice, very subtle transition here into the product, right? We didn't just go right into, be careful when choosing your makeup. So I think there needs to be a much more subtle transition here. But it's a great start. I think that you've got sort of the meat and potatoes here, but just repositioning this, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now, and strengthening that transition to the product is going to make that a lot stronger. So hopefully that is helpful, and thank you so much for submitting that. So alrighty, up next is Eric. Looking to get some ad copy feedback for our new meditation course. Awesome, Eric. Well, this is good timing for a meditation course. We're launching it for our current email list soon, so some of these will be tweaked for email copy, and that's why they might feel a little long. Okay, so avatar is long-time meditator. The angle is feeling. So are you currently frustrated with your, or are you frustrated with your current meditation practice? Oftentimes we are frustrated that our practice hasn't improved or progressed in a while. We might even be a little bored. We are supposed to sit and take what comes, but that doesn't mean we can't do things to improve our practice. We all want to be less distracted, less often, and have all the work we are putting into it translate better into our lives. So yeah, I like this. I don't know how much you would know better. I don't know how much of an issue this is. John, do you see this working as a hook for Gabby at all, for the long-time meditator? Because usually, the hook that works mostly when it comes to meditation are people that are having trouble just being consistent or even getting into a practice, because I feel like most people, once they get into a practice, it just flows and deepens and becomes its own thing. Usually the pain point is getting into it or feeling like you're not doing it right or even knowing what to do. But if this is a pain point for this avatar, then I think that's a good hook. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, John.
Yeah, so we did some campaign maybe like 6 months ago. And they tried that kind of pain angle, and we ended up scrapping those ads because they weren't really resonating with the audience. And that was definitely a campaign targeting warm traffic, so people that had, known her for a while. So I, in general, would recommend against trying to tackle long-term meditators with that kind of messaging is sort of what I get from that. It was a lot more effective to share a story or talk about layering a new meditative practice into the mix of what you're already doing. So less of a this isn't working and more of a, you know, how do you go deeper, go further, expand what you're doing, all that kind of stuff to really reach that kind of target audience.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Thank you so much. And then this one is needing confidence and resilience. Develop a mindfulness practice that can help you weather all storms. So, you know, I think something to keep in mind, especially in these opening sentences here, is that people generally don't want to do work. They just want a problem solved. It's kind of like the chocolate covered carrot idea, I'm gonna kind of tell you what I know you think you need and then give you what I know you need. And so by opening up and saying, hey, develop a practice that can help you weather all storms, it sounds like a lot of work. So I would be opening more by agitating and speaking to that pain point of feeling like you're struggling, weathering, in the process of weathering the storms, and then lead them to a mindfulness practice being the solution. So, I would open up more with something like sudden loss challenges and major challenges can throw us for a loop. Emotionally, that's great. When that happens, we can get stuck in life and not know what to do. So just opening up here, and maybe that's what you meant by bolding these, but I wouldn't open up with this sentence. I would open up right here. Help you develop a deep anchor. Yeah, this is really good. I think this will work well. Nice transition into your call to action. Um, and I don't think, again, I would open up here. I like that we've got a story. It seems to settle my mind faster as someone with chronic pain issues. Ooh, I don't know if Facebook's going to like this. So maybe just say chronic issues. Just take out the word pain. They don't love the word pain. NSM also seems to help my pain, change pain to another word because I can separate my mood, mental state from the physical pain. Same thing, better with practice. I'm finding that having my body as the object in meditation helps me get to the goal of quieting my mind faster. Yeah, I like this. I like the specificity of this testimonial. I think that um, even more ads that are telling these stories, very similar to the Panda Planner ads that are speaking to women or people with anxiety, that are speaking to moms. You can so speak to this transformation that you're providing just through telling the stories of people who have gone through your program. So I like everything that you have here. I would make just a few tweaks based off of what I said. You're a good copywriter. These are good, but I think that most of your success ad wise is going to be through telling those stories because then you're selling people on the after state. You're not selling them on the idea of meditation. You're just selling them on the fact that this worked for somebody else. And the more different stories that you can introduce in your ads, the better, because different stories are going to resonate with different people in your target audience, and everybody's going through something different. But especially at this point in time, the world needs what you're putting out there, Eric, and this ad copy is great. So thank you for submitting it. Let me know if you have any further questions, and I'm excited to see how those do. All righty, John, everything going well over on your end?
Yeah, I got a couple quick questions for you if you want to take these. And
Of
then,
course.
yeah, awesome. Okay. So Marilee was saying that she made an ad using one of Ezra's formats. So it was one of the ones that has the headline at the top and captions at the bottom. And the ad was approved, but they got a warning that they were over the 25% text rule, which meant that it
Uh,
only got like 50 cents worth of spend. So do you have a
you just want to
suggestion for
make
a better way?
sure you want to make sure with any of those ads where you have a lot of text that you upload a custom thumbnail that hopefully doesn't have any text at all on it, because that's what's that is what Facebook is looking at when they're judging that 20% rule. So that will fix that.
Cool, easy enough. And then Amy was saying regarding dog walker targeting interest groups, what do you think about people who travel? And she said maybe this isn't the thing to do right now, but as a dog owner, do you think targeting people that are traveling around the country in sort of a normal period in time is a good idea or not so helpful?
So my idea, or I was thinking that he was saying that he was trying to target dog walkers themselves, not people that need dog walkers, but people that are making dog walking their job or their business. I- is that what they're speaking towards, Sean?
Maybe so. This was about dog owners, was
But
Amy's
I
question,
do
but if the
think
whole thing was about
dog,
dog walkers, that's probably right.
but on a separate note, dog owners would be way easier to target via Facebook ads. We could go down a rabbit hole there, but dog walkers are just a little bit tough. I do think, though, that said, for whoever posted that about the dog walking course, if you do want to go the interest route, I still think that you targeting mostly by city and just saturating a market and saying, hey, Austin dog walkers, and knowing that even if you're targeting a bunch of unrelated people, people will still tag their friends who are dog walkers, and it will still be economical for you to just kind of take over that city, versus layering on interest. If you do want to do interest, any interests around animals would be the first ones that I would go after. Of course, you'll reach a lot of people that aren't actually dog walkers, but that could be a way to go. I wouldn't go the route of targeting people that travel. It makes sense, but it's just a stretch. And if you're gonna sort of niche down and target in any way, that's not the way I would go. I would go more after dog breeds and dog food and dog blogs, and there are tons of interests around dogs.
Cool. That makes perfect sense. Awesome. So you are good to keep rocking and rolling.
Cool. Anything else coming in the questions box that we can answer, John?
Now, that's everything we've had so far. I'll grab, the next 3 or 4 questions, and then when I've got a few, we'll take a break from you running through Facebook and jump back to those. So otherwise, go ahead and dive back into the tabs.
Okay, so Natural Glow, hey, hey. So they said that they dug deeper on the avatars, which is super exciting. Kept hearing my voice saying, go deeper, guys. Yes, that's what it takes. Just to put into context, you sell organic handmade hair treatments. I remember that from last week. Your first avatar is Harriet, the hairdresser. I chose her because hairdressers are prone to be early adopters, of course. Your second is Maddie, the mat leave mama. I came up with her because post-pregnancy, women's hormones switch up fast, and this can wreak havoc on their hair. That's a great avatar. Plus, new moms will appreciate it. You attach bracelets of interest and highlighted all the ones over 2 million. Would you feel comfortable using these broader interests in testing campaigns, or should you keep them for scaling? And then you're going to move on to copy. Awesome. So thanks for submitting these. So these are for hairdressers. Love that you're using all of the different product brands. I think these are right on. I think it's totally fine to use stuff like this, even though it's over, even though these are larger, this is still awesome, especially anything around professionals. Like I still think that you can use Drybar, for example, but of course there are going to be people like me who like Drybar that aren't hairdressers, and that's okay. That's kind of part of trying to reach a really specific avatar like this. But anything like this that's around professionals that we know is pretty much just hairdressers, that is awesome. I wouldn't do mind body. I think that's a little bit of a stretch there. I would keep it around salons and hair. I would remove cosmetics. I would keep it, at least for now, just around hair. But I love Hairdresser's Journal. That's awesome. I would think about my friend Katie's a hairdresser, and she follows a lot of influencers and pages of people who show new hair techniques and, are posting, sort of the trends when it comes to hair. I wonder if that's a rabbit hole you could go down, but otherwise, this looks really fantastic. And then I saw you've got your other avatar here for the post-pregnancy mom, which I love that because it's going to give you some really good targeting. So these are good. Motherhood Magazine, all of these looks nice. I don't know, I don't think this is specific to just moms or pregnant women, so I would maybe remove that. Same thing here, I would just focus on pregnant women / new moms, if possible. Yeah, Baby Jugger, Bugaboo, for sure. There are tons of interest. Yeah, Honest Company, Earth Mama, baby led weaning, for sure. I think there are lots of interests around breastfeeding that I've used before. Scary Mommy, I've used that one before. Pregnant Chicken. Yeah, these are really good. Think about all the apps that women are using when they're trying to get pregnant or as they're pregnant. So yeah, these look fantastic. Really, really good job. I could tell that you went deep. I love the avatars that you chose. This is what's going to allow you success on this platform versus just saying, hey, women who have frizzy or damaged hair, I got your back. We're able to speak specifically to hairdressers. We're able to speak specifically to pregnant women or new moms and explain why this product is for them. And you've really done the work here. So I'm super proud of you. Those are great. And I am excited to see how they do. Thank you so much for submitting those. Let me know if you have any other questions there. Okay, so next up, we have a client in the finance mindset coach market. John, I'm going to take a quick sip of my coffee if we've got any questions or anything coming in.
You are all good to keep going, but I will talk and fill the airtime for a long time, stretched out, so you can get all the coffee you want. And
Thank
we're
you.
back.
It's been a long few days when I'm drinking coffee at 9:42 p.m.
Lord, I didn't do that.
I think you guys can all understand. I'm like, I don't really know what time it is at this point. Okay, so the campaign is to make people download a lead magnet. I don't know the title of the PDF. Okay, you have 3 avatars, but only going to start with 2. No problem. You're going to post the copy of one of the topics from last week. Please notice that this will be in Latin, so I translated it. Okay, sounds good. So I will say that you kind of do need to know the title of like whatever your offer is, I feel, to write really good copy, but happy to dive in. So this is for MLM coaches. Just keep in mind that Facebook doesn't want MLM on their platform at all. So just make sure you don't mention that in your ad copy or on your landing pages. So did you know that if your mindset is not at 100%, your team won't even perform at its 20%? So having a team that doesn't perform at 100% turns into headaches and energy waste. For that reason, you've created this lead magnet where I'll show you techniques that successful people like Kiyosaki and Tony Robbins use on a daily basis. Make sure you put a Y there. These techniques will help you create a strong mindset and how to duplicate them to your team. You've tested and experienced the strategies, and not just in one, but many social networks. Okay, so I like this hook. It will help a ton to have the title of this PDF. I don't know if this is strong enough to stand out, honestly, just because, and maybe it's different in the Latin market, but I feel like there are so many people, I see them in my ads all day, kind of speaking to that business mindset hook. So I like the hook of your team isn't being as productive. And I think that if you could maybe kind of go a bit deeper into that, especially in the beginning of this ad copy, and really prove your point as to how they're not being productive and what that has to do with mindset, that might create a bit more of a need here for the PDF, if you're able to do that. So this one is, having a business in its early stages is hard enough to add lack of strong mindset. That's why you created this, where you show techniques. So I do like how you are adding authority by mentioning these big names, very similar to what Russ did, as you guys saw in the copy module. These techniques will help you develop a strong mindset so you can take your business to the next level. So, I mean, honestly, another hook that I'm thinking about, of course, is any business that's currently struggling or worried about what's going to happen with everything going on in the world. Mindset is, I think, our strongest asset at this point. So you are at a point, my friend, where this is definitely an offer that could be so helpful for people in this time of need. And in my opinion, it would be completely appropriate to use that positioning to get this lead magnet out there. So honestly, that hook to me is much sexier than these two that we've already gone through. Okay, having bad days at the office is normal. What if it's not? It's letting problems affect your life and mindset. Okay, so this is my favorite because it's really speaking to a deep problem that someone had. I've had that, like leaving the office in a bad mood, letting it creep into your personal life. And I honestly think you have good hooks here. Like this one is, hey, did you know your team's not being very productive and therefore you're wasting time and money because of mindset? Hey, if you're trying to grow a business right now, mindset's important. Hey, if you're unhappy or having bad days at the office, you can improve it through mindset. But I think the copy can be a lot stronger. And if possible, I would tell a lot of stories here because this market is very competitive. There are a lot of people speaking to business owners, a lot of people telling business owners what to do, and just a lot of noise in the market. So I find that people are a lot more likely to respond to more story-based ads where, maybe here we could tell a story about someone who's been having some really bad days in the office and what's causing those bad days. And then, a few tweaks that they made to their mindset and how it helped improve, how it started to help improve their days. And they enjoyed driving home from the office and they were in a good mood when they got home. And really, using more of those stories, very similar to what I showed you guys with Panda Planner, to prove your point versus just directly speaking to these people. So I'm not saying these are bad and that you shouldn't test them, but I do think that stories and going a bit deeper into how this is actually feeling for people and situations that people have gone through in relation to these hooks, I think that especially in this very noisy B2B market, those would be a lot more powerful. But I think this is a good starting point, and I think your lead magnets, from what I can see, going to be very helpful for people, especially at this point in time with everything going on. So thank you for submitting that. Hopefully that's helpful. Let me know if you have any further questions. Okay, John, gonna see if any other questions are coming in and take another sip of coffee.
Okay, so there was a question from Dave, and he's talking about Passive House Canada. And so their main avatar is architects and engineers looking for training. They sell membership and education like that. Do you think that Facebook and Instagram can be effectively used to reach this group? So architects and engineers looking for online education.
Yeah, totally. I've actually targeted architects before. I need to go dig in that ad account and find the targeting that I was using. But remind me to do that, John, after this call. You absolutely can. Definitely look for associations, target different architectural schools, target different buzzwords, target different magazines and blogs that are around architecture and design and building homes. You can absolutely reach that avatar. It's something that I've done before.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's a good thing to remember that, the people on Facebook and Instagram are just regular human beings doing all kinds of things. So as long as there's not,
Very true.
if you're trying to reach one human being, right, one specific person, if you're targeting Bill Gates, Facebook and Instagram may not be the best tool. But if you're targeting, a fairly large audience and architects and, people doing house stuff, engineers, that's a pretty big audience. You'll definitely be able to find some way to reach them because everybody has related interests and conferences they go to and books they read and all that kind of stuff. So lots and lots of ways to find whomever it is you're looking for.
Yeah, totally. And especially when you are trying to reach, like an architect is a much more specific avatar than moms, you know? So anytime you're going for that more specific avatar, like architects or hairdressers, just make sure that you're really calling them out in the ad copy more than you would a broader avatar, because you are going to have to do a bit more broader targeting. You know, there's not always going to be a way to just reach that specific person. So hey John, I was just looking at this one here, and the more I read this, I think this might be a good one for you if you don't mind answering this sometime in the near future. But it looks like there's some conversion rate stuff going on the page and some optimization, and that is definitely more your wheelhouse if you're
Yeah,
willing to.
no problem. I'll
Cool.
make a note of that and I'll look at that either after this call or tomorrow morning.
Okay. Do you have a link to this, or do you want me to save it for you?
It's a post from Ludovine, right? I can
Yeah.
find it, I think. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Sweet. Okay, so Mr. Luke is up next. Hey Luke, how you doing, buddy? I've got a really tough one here. We're doing lead generation for an agency owner that serves the roofing contractor niche. So very specific avatar like we were just talking about. His team runs Google Ads for the roofing contractors, but he's hired us to get a regular flow of business owners in that niche who would want to hire him. I hope that makes sense. So I think it does. He gets the clients for the roofing contractors. We're getting him roofing contractors for his agency. We're finding this exceptionally difficult. This doesn't seem to be anything substantial that ties roofing company owners together. Yeah, this is kind of exactly what we've just been talking about. There are some loose similarities, but nothing we can really pinpoint in terms of an avatar. He's signing up new roofing company owners in each zip code area, so we're targeting all the US minus the codes he already has. He's had great success adding them as friends on Facebook and messaging them directly, but that's not possible with paid ads. We tried a campaign that called out roofing owners and used them as an objective. All we can think to do is very far-reaching broad audience and use copy like tag a friend. Yeah, you definitely can't use copy. Don't use copy like that. It's against terms of service. Um, so I do think that it's totally fine to call out the roofing owners. And if people see that and they know someone who is, they will tag them. But via a paid ad, you can't ask people to tag in the post. It's against terms of service. We also have a lead magnet, which is a sales manual on how to sell roofing services door to door, which is how the majority of these business owners acquire new leads. We feel really stumped. It doesn't obvious. So yeah, this is a really tough one. I mean, this is such a very, very, very specific avatar that I'm not surprised that you've had the most success just private messaging people. This is a scenario where I would possibly look at LinkedIn ads. I'm not surprised at all that Google's working because people show intent first. So of course, that's a great way to reach them. This is going to be a tough cookie to crack from a Facebook standpoint. And yeah, I would really just call out everything that we've said over the past 15 to 20 minutes in terms of reaching a very specific avatar. I think any interests around home construction and home improvement would be great. Very similar to the architect interest that I was just calling out, and then making sure that you're just really calling out these contractors. This would also be a good one, John, if you have a second right now to tag. Oh, never mind. We already tagged Allie Boyd in here. So um, hopefully she hops in. That's someone that came to mind. But Luke, I've really, other than you've got a great lead magnet, it looks like that's going to speak directly to these people. I do think you can make this work on Facebook, but you are going to have to sort of cast a large net to catch a few fish is a good way to put it, right? This isn't going to be as much of a direct response effort as you see with like Boom, I mean, this is just a completely different nut to crack. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. So um, I think you're on the right track. I think targeting, like I said, any interests around home construction where these people would be hanging out, call them out, give them this lead magnet that, really speaks to them, that's going to be hugely valuable, that they feel comfortable opting in for. And I think also the benefit of this is I'm sure your leads are worth much more to you than, for example, mine in the keto space. So I'm sure you're able to pay more to acquire a customer, which is great. They're just going to be a little bit harder to find. So I wouldn't give up here, but I would understand that platforms like LinkedIn, which are going to allow you to be very specific in who you're targeting, definitely using job title targeting on Facebook, of course, doing as much as you can with Google. Those are all things I would be thinking about right now. And even, of course, offline advertising. So I know you said a lot about door to door here, going to conferences. Like, where do these people hang out? Do we need to hire a salesperson to go find these people? The answer to business growth is not always online advertising. I mean, it's definitely where my mind goes to first because this is my skill set and what I'm used to. But and it can still be used in this business. But I think there are lots of different routes you can go here to get creative, Luke. And I would even think about, what associations are these people a part of? Is there some way that you could even have access to do a direct mail to these people? I mean, sending physical mail still works really well, especially when you're trying to reach a specific avatar. So hopefully that's helpful. Definitely a tough nut to crack here, but I believe you'll be able to do it, and keep me updated there, Luke. Alrighty, so up next is Caroline. She says, "Hi Caroline, I have found a winning ad set in an ABO test running for a week, so I've switched off the other ad sets and I'm starting to scale the winner by increasing the budget by 50%. So that is cool. The first thing I would ask is, okay, so it looks like your success metric is return on ad spend, and it looks like you turned everything else off. These don't look profitable. This one does. So awesome. Those are the decisions that I would make too. So congratulations. Just to look at some metrics here, your click-through rate is really high, which is great. That shows me that your copy, your creative, your author is very interesting. Your cost per click is super cheap. This is so cheap, y'all. Traffic is so cheap right now. So that means that you're ranking really high in the auction, which is fantastic. It looks like we have 537 link clicks. So I'm going to pull out my calculator. 454 actually loaded the page, 11 purchased. So 11 divided by 454, that's a 2.4% conversion rate. I'm not sure exactly what you're sending traffic to. If this is like butter chicken and you're going direct to a product page or a sales page, 2.4% conversion rate is pretty good. There is room for improvement there on your site. So if you're looking for optimization, that's where I would start first, Caroline, is actually on your page, not in terms of the ads. Going down a rabbit hole here, but anyways, just to give you some feedback off of that data, looking really great. And I love that you have some proof of concept here. So you notice that, or do you switch off the other ads and start to add more ads to this ad set, in your opinion, or does switching off cause issues at the ad set level? What would you do? Yeah, I wouldn't switch any ads off. And I would honestly give this at least another week before you start adding new ads. So especially with the number of ads that you have here, you're going to be able to run these for a while. So I don't think that, honestly, clicking this open and seeing how many ads you have, you don't need to add any new ads for the foreseeable future, really, until we start to see some fatigue, honestly. You also notice the same with another CBO campaign, and switch off the low performing ads. Yeah, I just don't love switching ads off. A lot of that has to do with the breakdown effect, which I talk about in module 3. Even though it's tempting to switch ads off because it looks like they're not performing, it's important for us to understand that they're actually all working together, and Facebook is sometimes showing people multiple ads before they can convert. So even though a purchase is assigned to one particular ad, it doesn't mean that other ads weren't shown to that person before they decided to make that commitment. And so the other ads are important, even though it doesn't look like they're converting as well. So I try not to switch ads off when at all possible. So that's my feedback there, Caroline. And I would be starting to think about scale in other ways, like adding new ad sets to this ABO campaign that are targeting interests that are similar to the mom interests that are working really well in this ad set, that are utilizing these same ads that are already working, that you already have. So I love that you're getting some results. Super exciting. Thanks for posting this. Hopefully that gives you direction on how to move forward. Other than starting to scale, I would really think about what optimizations you can make on your page that you're sending traffic to. And we actually have a whole bonus video from Mr. John Grinshaw about that that we'll be releasing in the coming weeks. So thanks for posting that, and congratulations, Caroline. Keep us in the loop. All righty, so up next is a feedback request. I did the entire homework, awesome, and came up with the list of interests for a dog parent avatar, which is funny. We were just talking about that avatar a few minutes ago. I'm planning to use it in my first campaign for dog supplements. You're gonna start with the best-selling. Any feedback is welcome. Okay, cool. So let's take a look at this. Okay, all of these look great about adopting pets, types of dogs, magazines, clubs, association. Most vets have pets, so I don't see a problem with that. I would remove Beethoven as a film. I don't think that's completely relevant. Yeah, all of this looks fantastic. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier, going down the rabbit hole of different dog breeds, different blogs, different companies making pet food, pet supplies. My Chihuahua sleeping next to me right now. Yeah, all of these look really, really good. This is exactly the rabbit hole I would go down. So I forgot which one I mentioned is really the only one I would remove. And really great job. Really great job. Yeah, Beethoven the film, I think it would probably still work okay, but you know, you're also going to get a lot of unrelated people. So really, really good job on that one. Anything else coming through, John, before we move on?
Nothing super urgent. Teresa mentioned a good idea of the person trying to target roofers. Speaking about solar energy as potential interest, which is apparently a big, big deal down there in Florida. But just another way to go down the rabbit hole, right? Otherwise,
Yeah,
we are all
that's
good for you
great.
to keep diving in.
Yeah, I love you guys helping each other too. Like if you have specific information about an avatar that we're talking about that would help another student in the class, definitely share that, because um, you know, we're not all familiar with every type of person out there. So, okay, Sadie, hi dear. She says, hope you managed to travel safely and smoothly. Thank you. We made it. It was a big couple days, but we made it. Here's my ad copy for the librarian. I left a placeholder title for the name of our lead magnet. Okay, awesome. So we are going after librarians. Wish you could see your name at the top of a sales list. We do too. That's why we've taken advice on how to boost your book sales from best-selling authors and marketing experts and turn it into a handy guide. So this, for me, speaks more to an author than a librarian. So maybe this is the wrong labeling of the document, or maybe I'm confused, but just something to think about. It sounds like this is mostly for authors, which isn't a problem, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's for a librarian. Something else that I would say is this ad copy still very much feels like an ad for me. So Sadie, the biggest recommendation I would have for you just after even reading this first one is really do what I talked about in the copy modules. Sit back, kind of take your copywriter, I've got to make a sale hat off and put your I'm talking to a friend hat on. And, imagine one of your customers is sitting right across from you, or imagine that you're writing them a Facebook message. And I want to get that personal and feel that casual so that it doesn't feel like an ad. So having a small marketing budget can overwhelm indie authors trying to break through. So I like that, coming out with a pain point they can all relate to. That said, gaining readers doesn't have to be expensive or difficult. So I like this hook better. I still think it feels a bit like an ad. I think the same as I was saying earlier for, I forgot who it was. I think you telling a story or speaking to a case study would be so powerful. Hey, meet Jen. She launched her first book last year, and she made it to this ranking at the top of the list with a small marketing budget. Here's how she did it. Download this lead magnet for more details, right? So instead of coming out and feeling like you're trying to hype them up on something or sell them something, coming out and just telling a story of someone who just had the experience that they're looking to have, that would be the most powerful thing that you can do in your ad copy here. With so many ebooks available, but I do like this hook. I just think it could be told in a different way. With so many ebooks available, finding the right readers can feel exhausting. Another good hook. After all, you're a writer, not a marketer. I like that. Cool. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Your brand's called the Fussy Librarian, so I understand this better now. Again, I like this. I like this hook. It just feels, again, pretty salesy to me. Like you're hitting all the pain points here. This is good marketing. It's just the copy needs a little bit of work. Wish you could spend more time writing and less time chasing new readers. This is a fantastic hook. You're not alone. Yeah, this one's really good. Yeah, opening up your ad with something like this would be really powerful and would feel way less salesy. So testing a variation of this where you're just opening up here and then go into this type of copy and then your call to action. I really like the use of logic here. There are well over 6 million Kindle books. Wow. We're in the process of launching my book here in the next month or two, and that feels pretty overwhelming. Yeah, I like this. I think that by promoting with Jeffrey, you can catapult yourself ahead of millions of other authors. So this one's a bit more of a direct like sales testimonial, but I still like that you're using it. Again, I think all of your hooks are fantastic. You definitely know what the pain points are and how to get them to take action. The underlying marketing and psychology here is good. I just think we've got to make this feel a bit more native and use more of the stories of people who have already gone through this and had success. Those specific stories are what's going to relate to your audience the most. So thank you, Sadie. Great first jab at this. Let me know what you think and if you have any questions. And let's test these. Great work. Okay, Diana is up next, and this is copy feedback for pediatric acupuncture. Exciting. I know this is an area where you need to be careful. Just curious if I think Facebook will fly with this. Okay. So did you know that acupuncture is a viable treatment option for children? So the only thing, especially since this is kind of more in the health space, I wouldn't ask any questions. I would turn this more into a statement. Something like, most parents don't know that acupuncture is a viable treatment option for children, period. So that way people feel less called out for health, but we're still speaking to our avatar, we're still getting our point across. And I really like that very much as an opening line there. You're a great copywriter. Many parents fear that their child will be afraid of the needles. The truth is the acupuncture can be performed without using needles, as laser or acupressure can be used instead. I really like this. You're overcoming barriers. And I know especially with this type of market, you can't as much speak to the after state. So I think you've taken the right approach here. Anything from food allergies to digestive issues to chronic illnesses. Click here to learn more. Yeah, this is great. A testimonial about constipation, then one that had a fever. Yeah, I really, really like that. I cannot say enough about Chinese medicine. Our son has been constipated for weeks, so it looks like you're using this. Again, can you relate? Um, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't have these open-ended questions here. Facebook might not like that. I do like this a lot. I'm a certified pediatric Chinese medicine practitioner. I think you could have a variation of an ad that just opens up here and introduces her and her mission and what she's trying to do. I think that without listing out a bunch of different ailments and kind of speaking to health, I do think we might need to be able to tell some other stories that aren't just about constipation or a fever so that people kind of know, what the benefits are without us directly saying it. I know that's difficult, but that's really my train of thought right now. Um, do I start with, could Chinese medicine benefit your family? So no, I wouldn't open with those questions, but it does look like you're thinking the same thing. So opening with introducing her in this kind of scenario, especially with these native looking images of this awesome lady treating these children with the mom. I love these. Opening up and introducing her is actually a really good way to be compliant with policy, but still speak to what's going on. So if I were you, I would flesh this out a little bit more. I would try to tell more stories. I feel like that's the theme here. I also like this hook, more of the novelty slash education hook, that's just really explaining to people that acupuncture, to parents, that acupuncture is a viable treatment option, because I didn't know that. That's really interesting, and I think that would do well too. So I think novelty slash information, I think telling a story, and like you have here, and then introducing her. um, those are all great hooks, and I would test all three. Really great job, Diana. Those are awesome. I'm excited to see how they do, and you learn something new every day, right? Okay, so Chris, what's up, buddy? He said, we're learning so much from every TMTP session. That makes me so happy. Thank you. Thank you very much for all your help. After watching session 4 twice, I get it. It takes some time. We have decided to go after the avatar of Carla, the explant. I wish I could find bras that fit my new body so I don't feel less sexy without implants. Context. We sell bras designed for petite breasts. Like Boom, we are focused on giving a body positive message and celebrate small breasts when a big part of society doesn't. Said this, we are choosing to go after this avatar since they are problem aware and actively looking for a solution to fit their new body. Our questions for the next Q&A session are, do you think this audience is too specific to test on Facebook? Yeah, this isn't where I would start, honestly. I would start with something like what Boom is doing, choosing an age group, choosing moms, honestly, would be a great avatar for this, because so much of your body changes after you've had a child. So I would try to pick a little bit broader of an avatar than this, because it's going to be hard for people to identify themselves as, I think having removed their implants on a platform like Facebook. So I would pivot if you can. And then I'll check these audiences. Should we keep the avatar as a first option to test or go bigger? Our second option is Megan. I wish I could find a bra that fits me so that I feel sexy and feminine in the body I've worked so hard for, the fitness community. So yeah, the fitness community, moms, something a bit broader like that would be good. I do think things like Third Love, any brands that are making bras, I think Lululemon is a bit too broad here. I think Ross is too broad. I would try to go for just companies that actually sell bras and don't sell a ton of other stuff like Third Love. I think unless you're going for like an eco-friendly avatar, I wouldn't go after these. I would, same here with these, and I wouldn't go after plastic surgeons because I think we need to change this avatar. Same thing here. Yeah, I think, and this avatar has such small audience sizes too. So I just really, the fact that someone has had implants removed isn't data that they're clicking away and giving to Facebook. You know, that's really personal information. And so that is going to be tough to find. I think you're fine with these brands, but I think transitioning to a woman who's really fit or an avatar like New Moms, it will be much easier from a targeting perspective and from a copy and creative perspective too. So hopefully that's helpful, Chris. Great work, and keep us updated on that. Okay. All right. That was a double there. Okay. Robert said, "Hey Molly, I'm glad to see you and Larry got home safely. Thank you. It was crazy. They tried to tell me my last flight from JFK to Amsterdam that Larry couldn't get on the plane. And I very rarely get angry, but Mama Bear Molly came out." Um, Here's a question for you. On perpetual traffic, you've mentioned that historically Square images have tended to outperform other images. Is this still the case, and do you see any difference? So yeah, Square is still definitely my go-to. The biggest reason for this is that Square works across the most placements. So it just makes it easier for you. It allows you to aggregate more social proof. And I just find it to be what works best, but that's not always the case. Sometimes I don't have sometimes I don't have something that's Square. I don't have a designer that can help me in the moment, and maybe I have to launch something horizontal or vertical. And for me, stuff like this can make a tiny bit of a difference, but things like Square versus horizontal versus vertical, I mean, those are pennies compared to testing new hooks, learning more about your avatar, like the big, huge levers that you can pull that are going to make, the dollars of differences, the huge differences in your campaigns. So Square is my go-to, but what's most important is really the underlying marketing, and I just want to make sure you guys always keep that in mind. But great question. I wanted to make sure we covered that one. Okay, so next up is Carl from Uncupped. So Carl had asked, he was running some ads about, like I said earlier, people's coffee makers being dirty. And he was saying, like, should I change my messaging because of the virus? And I say no. I say that you're even more relevant now and your information is even more pertinent for people. So he said, a few weeks late on the traffic sheet, no worries. The first four are different quantities of our single serve pour over coffee, with the fifth one is a bundle of machine cleaning products that we're working on for people who aren't ready to ditch their machines but want to keep them cleaner. We're also thinking of putting together a machine cleaning guide to offer as a pre-sale. I love that. Would love to hear if you think these goals are realistic, whether we're on the right track here. Okay, so going directly to your Single Origins coffee subscription, that's totally fine. I know that's what you're doing right now. Looks like you're going to test another option, a few different offers here. Free plus shipping. Yeah, I like all of this. I think that this is reasonable from a cost per lead standpoint. It's really hard for me to tell you CPA goals without having specifically run traffic in your business. I do think that these are reasonable. I think that these two might be a little bit lower than what you'll see, but I do like these offers, and I don't know how you're planning to test all of these at the same time. Like, I would go with one of these front end offers and get proof of concept first and then test these other two. I think that a cup on us is a great retargeting offer. I think it would also be great to cold traffic too, especially with everything going on right now. I think people are really responding to giving attitudes. So trying this to cold traffic right now could be interesting. I think this is more of a warm traffic offer, and I think this could go both ways too. So I like all of these ideas, Carl, and I don't think that you're completely off the mark there on your goals, but we're going to have to see once the data starts coming back. You also said you'd love to get our feedback on some of the avatar you've been doing for Clean Loving Karen. Yeah, you're offering single serve coffee that doesn't require a dirty coffee machine. You're thinking of setting up 3 different ad sets. Are we on track with interest targeting? Awesome. So it looks like you're going the route of cleaning supplies, which I love. I think all of these are freaking awesome. Becoming Minimalist, Marie Kondo, Ziploc, Container Store. Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. Purell, Clorox, cleanliness, of course, that's an interest. Yeah, I don't see anything I would remove. These are awesome. I think you are right on the money here, honestly. These, yeah, those look fantastic. And I think you can go even further down that rabbit hole. Would love to get your feedback on our copy. Okay, so let's see here. I don't think you need to have the date here. I just think you can say, you know, I would actually open with most coffee machines are crawling with germs and full of mold, says USA Today. And Good Housekeeping says that daily cleaning is the only thing that will kill those bacteria and viruses. So that just gets your hook a little bit closer up here. Right now it's kind of buried with a date and a name and a bunch of stuff that looks like the news. So I like this hook. I like this opening. Just rearrange it a little bit there. Same thing here. Many common household cleaning products will kill the virus. However, white vinegar solution does not. So I'm not sure. I don't know if it's necessary to add this other sentence, but if it's something you want to test, then go ahead. Same thing here. You just want to make sure that we're not opening with the University of Valencia in Spain. Most people are just going to keep scrolling. We want to get right into the meat of what the problem is. So, you know, I would open with 67 different strains of bacteria were found lurking in hotel coffee machines by the University of Valencia in Spain. So just reposition these a little bit so that the meat of it, the real shocking part of this, is right here in the beginning so that we catch as many people as possible. I like this. Let's get real. How often is that machine actually being cleaned? If you're like us, you don't have time for that mess. Really good copy here. I love these different intros. And even if you do, who's cleaning those coffee machines? We're here to help. Yeah, this is fantastic, Carl. Really good job. Yeah, I like this. I would just change these, like I said, to be a bit more interesting for someone who's just skimming the beginning. Okay, it looks like we've got pain benefit. Ever suspect that coffee machines are crawling with germs and full of mold? Ding, 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 you're right. Yeah, this is great. Much stronger opening here. Yep, same here. This is just so much more in your face. I love that we're giving some value here because this will make people want to share, which is going to be really important. So yeah, Carl, you hit the nail on the head here, buddy. I'm excited to see how these go. And like I said, they're just even more relevant now than they have been before. So you're helping a lot of people and don't feel bashful about that. Okay, up next is Casey. So I've got a good problem here. All my ad sets appear to be working. Woo! Wondering where I can scale and optimize these sets. I can't scale all of them with the current budget, but how should I choose which ones to scale? They all seem to be working. This is day 3, so maybe wait a few more days. So, okay, that was yesterday. And now we have new data. So I'm gonna look at this. So we're on day 4. Since this is new, Casey, I would wait 7 days. So give this at least 3 days before you start making decisions. And I'm wondering here, buddy, what is your success metrics? So it looks like you're driving landing page views. We've got a ton of them for a super cheap price, a ton of link clicks. So is that the metric we're looking at right now? Link clicks, is that the goal of the campaign? Because we've got some add to carts. It doesn't look like we have any purchases, but if you can give me a little bit more context. Okay, so it says similar but different campaign going to a different page. Okay, so here we are showing somewhere landing page view is the goal for this campaign. Okay, awesome. Well, great results out of the bat here, Casey. And if you're limited to budget and you can't scale them all, number one, it's tricky because they're all showing, if your success metric here is cost per landing page view, then that's the metric that we want to use to make decisions about scale. Now, what's tricky here is that they're all showing the same result. So I really don't know how you would decide what to scale right now or what not to scale. I would give this 3 more days. After 3 days, I would scale the ad sets that have the lowest cost per landing page view by about 50%. And I would do that every 7 days or so just to nicely, slowly scale this campaign and just use that metric, cost per landing page view, as your success metric when you're making decisions on which ad sets you're going to increase in terms of budget and which one you're just going to leave as is. Or since budget is at the ad set level, which ones you might even turn off if you feel you don't want to keep spending budget to that avatar, or I'm sorry, to that ad set. Another way to scale too, of course, if you have extra budget, since you have budget at the ad set since you have budgets at the ad set level right now, would be to add new ad sets to this existing campaign, targeting interests most like the ones that are working and using those same ads that you're currently running. So really scaling this offer and this ad that we know is working really well out to other audiences is another option there. You said 0.07 is the most expensive, which is below my metric. So if we look at this one, yeah, we've got, okay, so 0.06, these are just still so close, like they're so similar. It just shows me that we do need more data before we start to make decisions. But heck yeah, this is still really early. There's a lot of meat left on the bone here. Fantastic work. It looks like you definitely have the interest of this audience, and whatever you're offering them or asking them to click on, they want. So Casey, let me know if you have any more questions there. I'm going to keep this open so I can come back to it. But congrats, and hopefully that makes sense. I don't think you need to be in the mode right now of creating new copy or creative for this offer or anything like that. You've got so much here to work with, and you're going to be in the good position of, I'm running out of budget, like what do I have to turn off? Not, oh, nothing's working, what am I gonna do, right? You've got a really good problem here. So simple advice, what I assume. So yeah, if you have a more complex question or need me to get more complex, let me know. But at this point, from a scaling perspective, there's nothing that's really setting these apart necessarily. If you do want to look at more of a secondary metric other than cost per landing page view, you could look at something like unique link click-through rate of the ads within these ad sets, or just the ad set in general, to see which are getting the highest, unique link click-through rate. That would be the second metric that would be the most important to me. But right now, looking at cost per landing page view is what I would look for. The next question will likely be the retargeting that I follow with this, I bet, with conversions as my metric. So yeah, since you're driving such a high volume of traffic here, and I feel the audience size will be over 5,000 people, you should be totally fine using conversion as your objective. And it would even be interesting to use maybe even these same ads and these same ad sets, like basically this exact same campaign that you're running right here, depending on where you're sending traffic to, and test that as a campaign optimizing for conversions and purchases, if that would make sense. If there's a buying opportunity here when people click over, since you are getting good proof of concept here, this could work even better from a return on ad spend standpoint as a conversion campaign. And that's something that you could test if you wished. So hopefully that's helpful for you. Alrighty, so we have one, maybe two, if we've got time. This one that just came in, and I know a few of you guys have posted in the last little bit. I promise I will get to you guys tomorrow, anything that came in after we pulled these questions. But let's dive in here to some copy. So product is a 32-piece set of presser feet, sewing machine part. Our audience is mainly women over 50, mainly hobby sewists. User benefit demonstration. See how the feet and the 32 PCS Ultimate Presser foot set by Madame So make your sewing life easier. So I like the demonstration, but I do feel kind of already sold to here in the opening, and we're going directly into 50% off, order by phone, 60-day money back guarantee, over 50,000 sold. I know you see this in a lot of Booms ads, and a reason for that is that they've saturated their market in such a huge way. Almost every woman over the age of 50 has seen ads from Boom over the last 5 years. So they are able to get away with stuff like this, speaking to the features a little bit more than the benefits. But I don't want you to get caught into this. I definitely want to see more benefits here in your ad copy than features. And I like these because they're detailed testimonials that speak specifically to why these women like this. I think that there might be a little bit too, like, this is a very text heavy for me, but I do think you could use a lot of this to maybe split this up and maybe even begin your ad copy more with someone speaking to a specific scenario where they use this product and why they liked it, other than it being 50% off, order by phone, 60-day money back guarantee, blah, blah, blah. So I wouldn't open with this. I bought this set and love it. It's just not specific. I bought a set from another company and it came with a flimsy case. I wanted to have the instructional booklet right in front of me instead of having it look up on the computer. So this might make a good retargeting ad, helping people overcome barrier to purchase, but just kind of speaking against bad experiences, or speaking towards bad experiences people have had buying this from other people. I don't know if that's the best top of funnel there. So, it looks like you go from one foot to another and try to process you have done all your life previously with much more difficulty, and now they are a snap. So I really think we kind of need to go back to the drawing board here and say, what are the true hooks of this? Like, it seems like it saves them time. So could we have an ad copy variation that's all about saving them time? Maybe you have one down here. Tired of being stressed when wearing, showing, or gifting you made yourself? You shouldn't be, because handmade is made from the heart and always something you should be proud of. Spike your confidence now by starting to use dedicated presser feet. So this is okay. I don't know if it's going to be the strongest. If you're speaking to people that already sew and that's really your avatar, my best piece of advice is for you to go back to the before and after grid that I showed during the ad copy module and fill out that grid and do it for this avatar, people that are already sewing. And fill out that grid and post it in the group, and then let's pick which hooks we feel would be best to then turn into your ad copy variations. And we can use some of this copy you already have. I'm not saying that you've got to go back to the drawing board, but I'm still lacking like a big sense of that before to after transformation here. Most of these just still very much feel like an ad and feel like we're speaking to the features of the products. So I think if we go back to the before and after grid, that will give us a better foundation to then flesh these out a little bit more. So let me know, and I'm happy to look through that. And then last but not least, Josh, my day job is being a dog trainer. That's awesome. And with the new shelter in place, orders here in San Fran, my income has magically vanished. I'm so sorry to hear. We're going to try to make lemonade out of this and create online trainings for dog owners stuck at home. I love that. Awesome. With that said, we're planning on targeting the Bay Area as a whole, which comes out to 3 million. With this size audience, bad idea to layer interest, assuming I can keep it above 500K. Is it even worth layering broad interests such as dogs? So Josh, yes, because that is such a large audience of 3 million, this is definitely a case where I would overlay it with a broad interest like dogs, exactly like you're saying, or dog training. And if you can keep it around 500,000, and we know that they're just a little bit more qualified or at least we know they're interested in dogs, I think that's going to perform really well for you. So, way to make the most of the situation, transition this to online training. Make sure you very much call out the San Francisco area and feel free to say, like, hey, I normally do this in person, but because of recent times, I'm offering this online. This could be a great way to bond with your dog during these tough times, a great new skill for you both to learn. This is definitely a scenario where you are repositioning your offer, you're making it relevant, you're helping people, and I commend you for that, and I know that everything will work out. So, all right, y'all. Hopefully that was helpful. We got through all of the tabs, which is exciting. I know that there are a few more that have come in the last hour or two that we will get to tomorrow. Now that I'm back in Amsterdam, I'm in one place for the foreseeable future. Again, thanks for being flexible the last few weeks. It's been really crazy, but happy to be back with you guys. And thank you for staying active, staying focused, and for all of the awesome stuff that you guys are submitting. I'm really impressed. And the goal this Thursday's class, which will be live, is all about taking these assets that we've talked in depth about over the last 6 weeks and putting them together and actually launching our campaigns and what that process looks like. So I'm excited for Thursday. I'm going to show you guys a lot of the work I've been doing for the over the shoulder brands. I'm going to show you how this really all ties together. And if you're in a place where you are ready to launch some ads, this would be a great time to do so. If not, do not worry at all. You guys have time, and I understand that right now isn't the best time for every single brand to be running ads. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have questions specifically about your position and your company in relation to everything that's going on in the world. Any way that I can help you guys, that John, Ezra, that we at Smart Marketer can help you, we are here for you. And yeah, just let us know. Thank you for being here. John, anything coming in on your end?
Yeah, so I wanted to throw one last thing out there. Love everything you just said, so keep that as the emotional end of the call. But I know there were a few people looking for slides and worksheets because of the last couple trainings have been digital recordings. I didn't sort of get the real-time prompt to say, hey, go plug this thing in. So we have officially added the bonus calls with Ezra, the slides from all the presentations, and a few worksheets you guys were looking for as well to the members area. So anything, everything you could possibly imagine wanting to go back in and review your copy a little bit deeper, thinking about creative, maybe thinking a little bit more about video if you're wanting to do video ads, getting Ezra's take on those. All of that is now available in your members area. So any questions, concerns, thoughts on that, feel free to tag me in the Facebook group, but hopefully we have given you guys just the right amount of content to sort through everything. And it feels good to be back into a regular rhythm, which I love personally, and I am excited to, see how everybody's doing Thursday next week. And sorry, you may have mentioned it, Molly. I was chatting in the comments, but we are adding a bonus Q&A call on March 31st, I believe, which originally had been sort of what we call the catch-up week when people are often kind of, like sort of getting their last ducks in a row, time to just sit down and focus. But since we had a couple of the calls go from planned to be live to digital recordings, we thought an extra Q&A would be good. So just wanted to remind people of that as well. It'll happen at the normal time. But I
Ooh,
think that's
bonus
all
call.
the housekeeping. Yeah.
Yeah, and John and everybody, because we haven't been as available the last few weeks with everything being hectic, we are going to add a few bonus calls on the end of these 16 weeks to a few bonus Q&A calls just to give you guys a little bit more breathing room at the end of the class if you have more stuff you want to ask or any more touch points with us. So just wanted you guys to know that that will be available, and we just appreciate you guys, and don't give up on this stuff. This is a great time to focus if you can, to go deeper on this skill set because because of everything going on, this is just even more important. So let us know how we can support you. John, as always, thanks for being here, buddy, and we will see you guys Thursday live at the regular time.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much, Molly. See y'all Thursday.